Welcome to TradeTheMBI.com. This is John. This report is for the 6th. Look at that move. Just continue. Where did the 25.50? Actually, I think we can look at the high was actually 50.75. So 25.50.75 was the high on there. But still going right in line with our expectations, and just an incredible move from a daily. I may actually go back and check to see when the last time we've had this kind of depth of a cyan below the -7, and I think it's a very rare occurrence. Yes, it's all going to get backfilled, but not until you've reached the point where we actually get the crossovers. At this particular point, though, you've had short-term buyers that were, elevating this, got overtaken here by mid-term, long-term buyers just jumping into it. New fund money coming in right about this time of the year anyway. Month. Typically, this would be the time of month that it always happens, that we always talk about this from a regular basis. And sure enough, it's propelled it. And of course, there's always the talk. There was a talk 100, 200 points ago that this was too far, too much. The key we were looking for, we talked about this just in yesterday's report, in fact, was the breakout of the NASDAQ above its highs would propel things even further, and that would be the catalyst that would drive it, and there it is. So, clean and simple. Look at the Dow as well. Just move your decimal place over there for your 22,700. So that's pretty impressive, but it's still ways away from what the overall projection for Dow 30,000 is. I think not even a ridiculous. I didn't think it was ridiculous back when we were, below 15,000. But then again, a lot of people have a hard time understanding some of these cyclical dynamics, and we're definitely in that period of it as well. Throw in the, potential growth policies that are being turned about, and looks like open season for growth, which is something that hasn't happened in quite a while. Europe still well outside the range, and again, anything above the 115 and a half range, I think, is positive for the S&P, and it's going to continue to keep things elevated. Bonds should not be going anywhere. In fact, this should be a good indication that the market is pricing in some significant inflation coming forward. That should be interesting to see how that plays out. Oil, we think it's going to hold around in this area for a while. I think that it's becoming clear that there's significant enough growth out there that's going to fuel any expansion as well. Gold for now looks like it's in trouble. Yes, it's still been trading lower, but at the end of the day, this is going to turn around, because right now, while you see that there isn't much inflation yet, and I know people have been talking about that for a long period of time, but we've been right on it when the key step-down points and then turnarounds have been. So it's not there yet, but close enough. And here you can see for 5K. So we ended up with all these little 7.6s, which are on the ABM DOH program that we adjusted. So from the dip of the ABM right there, and it's just been nonstop. You keep getting these periodic points where the orange dips below the red DOC, as well as you get the crossover of the gold on the shakeout above the magenta as well, and that gives you your full signals. But I mean, anywhere along the point. But a lot of people will say to me, "Oh, well, it was too far. It already moved 5-6 points." Well, yeah, it moved 5-6 points, but there's still another 6 to go, and you could never know when that one is going to be. This is why I always say go with the signals, and the rest works itself out. That's usually the safest way to approach it. As always, though, we're going to continue to evaluate this. I would expect that we should get some portion of fill back, at least to the 42 range here, which is 50%. If that's going to continue to climb, though, so wherever that's going to end up, at least that's the basis point for where reasonable retrace level would go. We're not seeing it just yet. Looking at that 5K, that's still pretty clean. You are getting up here with the orange, but as long as the shakeout's holding up and you've got the complete reset of the steel, it's still okay. So that's the long of it. We're not going to say short, because there really isn't any short at this particular moment. But when it comes, it should be interesting. As always, though, trade well. We'll talk again later.